Happy September and welcome to my channel update. Well, there is a lot to talk about, so let's get started. First off, no surprise to some of you, I'm sure, but I am back on the expandeduniverse.com. My first Matt Chat landed this past Saturday. There will be more going on throughout the Saturdays. As you know, after my solo video here, I basically ran out of things to talk about when it came to Last Jedi, Lucasfilm and the fans, and everything I wanted to say. So now it's time for me to come back. I talked to Chris about it. Of course, he was all for it. I'm all for it too, to talk about some EU, which is what I really love. People say, well, why didn't you make more of those videos? Because I ran out of things to say, and unlike other channels, I don't like repeating myself. But if you have an idea for a Matt Chat, please let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I'm always looking for good ideas, and I'll probably feature one of yours if I think it's a good topic about the EU. But anyway, one other exciting thing that Chris put on the expandeduniverse.com, I don't know if anyone knew this, but there are fan forums. Yes, forums where you, the fans, can get on there, talk about subjects, talk about the EU with other people. For over a year now, I've gotten questions from tons of people saying, Matt, is there a place we can go just to chat with other, fans of the EU? And I was like, no, I don't like the StarWars.com fan forums, which were so fantastic back in the day. I was on those every day, posting something or responding to something or just watching, a discussion unfold. And I love them so much. Well, Chris, in my absence, went ahead and put them out, and I think it is phenomenal. I love it. I love it. So definitely try to get on those forums, start some conversations, and enjoy the expanded universe, which is the whole goal of the website. Now, let's talk about my channel here. First off, let's talk about the Expanded Universe, my Expanded Universe videos. I want to give a special shout out to Fred Khalil. Fred Khalil makes all the music for this show, for any of the shows, the Board Game Review and Matt's Expanded Universe, and he's very talented, and anytime I need him, he will send me a music file of whatever I need. And recently, for a video I did 2 weeks ago, I said I need a bum 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 at the end, and I didn't have anything that sounded like that. And I haven't seen Fred in over a year. Even though we are friends, I don't get to see him that much. Well, so he usually just emails me the files. Well, this dude happened to be in my neighborhood, dropped in with his electric piano, plugged into his computer, did all this crazy wild tech stuff. I can't really exactly know what he did, but he recorded it right there in like under 10 minutes. And then he stayed to do that one shot where we have Fred in it. That was the last thing we shot for the video, and I put it to the beginning because I just kind of added it in there, and it was just fun. So I really love seeing Fred, and he'll probably never watch this, but big thanks to him and everything he's done for the channel. Now, also on the expandeduniverse.com, a lot of people have been saying, Matt, so when are you going to get done with the Rebellion era? If you remember, I said I would be at Empire by by September, I said. And then anyone who's been talking to me in the past few weeks found out that I have realigned my expectations. I moved it to December, and now I'm thinking maybe February. As I study the Expanded Universe timeline, especially in that Rebellion era between Episode 4 and Episode 5, I am finding out that there is tons of stories that I haven't even gotten to yet. So it's going to be at least February, maybe even longer. I don't know. I'm not dragging this out on purpose. I just don't want to rush through it. And there's no reason to rush through it right now, right? Exactly. As if there's no EU coming out right now, then I don't have any reason to rush. Now, if I'm proven wrong and they bring out more Expanded Universe, I still don't think I would rush. I think there's plenty of time for me to review all of these, even if new EU was coming out. I probably couldn't do it in chronological order as well, but I think I have plenty of time to go through this, and I want to make sure I try to get everything. Now, for those people who want to say in the comments, Matt, I think you missed this, you can go ahead and say it, but from what I've learned, I've covered most of that stuff. Or some of you are talking about Tales stories, which I really don't consider canon. And remember, Star Wars Tales was something that was a coin flip. Unless they actually said it, we couldn't. Sometimes you could figure out if it's canon or not. Sometimes it was too silly. Is it canon or is it not? And if it wasn't answered in the Star Wars forums back then, we don't know. Next up, talking about the board game review. September 6th is me and my wife's 10-year anniversary, and so in honor of that, I want to do 10 board game reviews. I've been sandbagging some reviews for this special occasion. Most of them are vintage games. That's why a lot of people have been going, Matt, why haven't you posted any vintage games the past few months? Because I've been holding them up and wanting to release them for the 10-year anniversary because my wife is a big fan of vintage games. Now, I do have, I think, 1 or 2 newer games, like 10 years old in there, but I wanted 10 videos to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, so expect that on September 6th. After that, I had planned to have at least one Kickstarter game in by now, and then one package I ordered at BGG SpringCon. Neither one of them have arrived. The Kickstarter, of course, got delayed, and then the package, I pre-ordered something that was supposed to come out in July. Then they said August. Then they said September. So I don't know when it's coming out. I shouldn't have pre-ordered that item. I don't know what I was thinking, but the games aren't in. So the new games that I had planned to review for September are not in. So what does that mean? That means for at least a couple of weeks there will be no board game reviews. Now if those things come in and I get the chance to play them, most of them I did play at BGG SpringCon, so I feel like I can review them. One or 2 of them I didn't, so I'll have to play them a little bit before I can review them. But I will try to get those reviews out as quick as possible once those games come in. If not, we're going to be a little short on board game reviews. Now let's switch gears. Let's go to the podcast. On Prince of the Universe, I got 2 podcast ideas here. I just don't know which one's coming first. Of course, it's going to be Bruce. We're going to do a little nerd news update like we seem to always do at least once a month. And then my good friend Benjamin, who's a Star Trek fan, is going to get on there, and we're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery. Folks, I just recently watched is all 13. I think there's 15 episodes, however many episodes there are. I just recently watched them all. My buddy Benjamin is a huge Star Trek fan, and he had never seen Discovery either. And so we were talking how we've seen all the Star Treks except for Discovery, and we both decided to watch them. So I finished them. He has not as of this video. So I don't know if that means we're going to be able to do his podcast first. His podcast may come second. Either way, those are the 2 topics we'll be talking about. And then on Saturday morning, Sam and Flange, the missus and I are going to power through and tell you what our favorite 90s songs and the year 2000s, which I guess is called the aughts, I hear. But we're going to talk about our top 10 songs from those decades. Whoever came up with that idea, again, thank you. The missus thinks that's a phenomenal idea and she really loves it. In fact, you've encouraged her maybe to come up with another idea for a future Saturday morning Samoflange. But those are the 2 topics we'll be talking about this month. Of course, I'll try to put those links. If you don't have iTunes, I'll try to put those links in the description of the video, which of course, as you know, I never do because I forget, but maybe this time I won't. Finally, we're going to do a live Q&A, and I'm going to do it Saturday morning at 8 a.m. That is Central Standard Time. I'm trying to do this for the people overseas so they can get a chance to talk to me as well. I do that every once in a while, and I feel like now is the time. So if you have a question and you cannot get up early, like this old man, then what you can do is just put it in the comments below, and of course, I will answer it. All right, folks, that is all the time I have. Whew, a lot of stuff to cover there, but we will see you later on this week.